Back up a little. Okay, so this is my Manco Dingo, and in the last video on this thing, you watched me like touch up some rusty areas. Oh, I put some front wheels on it. Built a seat, like this nice snakeskin leather seat. Oh, and I pretty much just rebuilt the whole front end because spindles and stuff was missing, and put some springs and stuff on it. In this video, I'm gonna try to be working on a power plant for this thing. I've got a motor in my mind, thinking about it. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, I ordered a torque converter to put on this thing. That's pretty interesting. I've never built something with the torque converters. That's gonna be kind of a learning curve. If you didn't watch the first couple videos, I picked up a whole lot of like 7 go-karts for is $175. And yeah, they're kind of spread out all through there. I've already sold one, and this one's next on the list to fix up and try to make some cash on. There's been a change of plans with the motor I'm gonna put on the Dingo. In the last video, I actually mocked up this sick-looking Briggs 5 horsepower, because why would you not put a flathead Briggs on there if you have the option to? But long story short, if I had a parts motor for this thing, I would use it, because on the back, it's got two little shafts. It's for a tiller, so one of these turns backwards if I remember right. Yeah. That one turns backwards, and a lot of people just cut that off, which is what I plan on doing. But with that Dingo, with those huge rear tires, you really need to run a torque converter. And I was like, okay, well, and I already ordered a torque converter from Prime Day. I actually got it for like $45, which is pretty good. I'm sure some people's going to know this. This doesn't have like the 4 holes to mount a torque converter to. So, like I said, if I had a parts motor, I'd take the shaft off, and then I just replace this side cover with a newer one that has the 4 holes. But I don't. This is still a good motor. I want to put it on like a mini bike or something. I think that would look really cool. I like these old flatheads. But that was not going to work for this right now. Also, I'm sure some people got like super excited when I showed this Briggs 1450. This is like a 13 or 14 horsepower. I think it's a 14 horsepower. This is a huge little motor. Fun fact, got this at the latest swap meet for, I'm going to insert your guess here. If you said $25, you was right. I mean, it's got electric start and everything. I bought it from a dude who, actually my very first mini bike, I bought the motor from him. So, same guy. This isn't going on the Dingo. It's as sick as it would be. I mean, this thing's got a ton of compression. And I already popped the valve cover off. It's pretty clean in there. I want that for my personal little go-kart that I plan on building at some point. And if you watch the first introduction video to these go-karts, you know that that's a Murray kilowatt. I think this thing ought to scream on there. A few of you will recognize this, if any, because I actually did a whole little video on this motor specifically. Long story short, I got this thing for free. A guy was shutting down his business up around the Sparta, North Carolina area, and I saw this like in the background. It's like, hey, I wonder if that's for sale. I went there, guy had it priced for $10, and then I went to pull it, and watch, it'd be funny if it did it again. No, it was locked up, so he just gave it to me. So this is a free motor. 196cc dirty hand. That stands for Dirty Hand Tools. So this came on like a wood log splitter, what I can tell. But yeah, this is free. I did a whole video on getting it. I'm not even doing quotation marks on running. It just, I couldn't get it to run. So basically what it was is I took the head off to get it unlocked up. What happened is just some water got through the intake, or something, I don't know. And just like got the slightest amount of surface rust on there just to seize it up a little bit. So I cleaned that out, all that out. I did some riggery to get the head gasket back on there. And by that I mean, back in the old day, people would just spray paint their head gaskets to reuse them. That's what I did, and it worked on that green Baja Warrior right there, if you watched that. But it didn't work on this. I think this thing just had such a huge vacuum leak somewhere that it just wasn't being able to pull gas through the carburetor, because I think it was a fuel issue. It would start to run, and then it just wouldn't. Ordered, again, Amazon Prime Day. Ordered a kit, basically to pretty much rebuild this thing. All you're missing is like rings and bearings, but I needed one of these two, so I picked it up. This whole kit was like $8. But yeah, that's what we're doing today, is putting a head gasket on this thing. And then maybe getting it running. And maybe getting it installed. If it doesn't run, this little thing has confused me before, so I wouldn't be too surprised. Alright, so I'd be lying if I said that it wasn't well over a week since the last time I recorded anything on this. Like, I literally just... literally the last clip was me taking the exhaust off, but since then, I got distracted by the Monte Carlo sitting directly behind me, and I guess just some old stereo equipment my dad's gotten into. But I'm here now, and that's all that matters. So I'm gonna take this valve cover off because 2 of the head bolts are underneath here. Okay, you'll know that that was just silicone on there. And I would say I have a gasket for it, but if you look right there, actually I'll just show you. Different shapes. So this is for a non-Hemi head, and this is a Hemi head. So I'll put a picture up right here if I'm not too lazy. But the Hemi head is this style valve cover. And it's kind of like a, what is this? I almost says like a cast aluminum type thing. While the non-Hemi head, hemispherical head, it kind of looks like a stop sign. So that's how you can tell. I know that there's some people that I know there's differences on if you want to build these for power and stuff. I'll show you here in a second. Just by the way the valves are angled, it's hard to boost compression on a hemispherical head. But out of the box, I've heard they're a little bit better. But if you're going to build one, you want it's a whole thing that you can get into. I'm not going to. We're going to see if this cute little impact right here has enough power to break these loose. And it does, surprisingly. It's good to see I torqued all of these down to nowhere close to the same amount. Which I'd like to be able to. I forgot about the push rods, that's fine. I try to keep these in the same order as where I took them out, but it probably don't matter, to be honest. To be honest, that looks like it's sealed off all the way around there pretty good, so this may not work. I don't know. We'll see. I was looking for I was looking for any obvious areas where compression was leaking. Of course, it didn't run that long, but I was thinking you'd be able to see like some burnt through areas. And I don't. Okay, so I got both surfaces cleaned up. Pretty good. Pretty good, I would say. Also, I was flipping this head around, and these huge chunks of, I'm assuming carbon, other than that shiny bit right there, that's a head gasket material. This fell out of the head. I'm assuming from the exhaust. I don't know. I don't remember that, to be honest. But I don't think that's in there anymore. And you want to use your expert materials to get all the trash and stuff out of the cylinder. Which, to be honest, is more than I thought it was. But I done sprayed it down once, which is good for me. Okay, so this is kind of like a stamped metal head gasket. I love the fact that, you know, it's like that, but it is what it is. So I'm thinking that they give you 2 head gaskets because one's thin for more power, more compression. If that'll ever lay flat. I don't know if it will. I don't know. I've already had issues with this head sealing off before, I think. So, oh cool. The dowels don't fit through that. Anyways, I'm going to put the thick head gasket on there because it is double the thickness. I think I need to go ahead and just do that. Maybe I'll save the thick or the thin one for one of my bikes or something. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Had the head gasket upside down. I saw that literally as soon as I turned the camera off. It's past my bedtime. It's like 8:15. Where did I put the head at? Nice. Now I want to make sure not to start those by hand because you always want to do that. Okay, so the torque for these is it's actually 220 inch-pounds, but my inch-pound torque wrench doesn't go up that high. Only goes to 200. So to figure it down in foot-pounds, you divide 220, which is inches, by 12, which is 12 inches a foot. It's like 18. So I'm going to start out with 10 and then go to 18. And going in like a star pattern. Next, I'm going to, again, use my expert tools and wipe off these push rods. Now I am going to put some lube on here because, I don't know, makes you feel better. Okay, wipe it off again. Okay, so you'll see I took the recoil starter off. That way I can get in here my oven mitts and turn it over. I also took the spark plug out. This is on my workbench, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to put it, okay, I was already top dead. I'm going to put it right here. That way you can see it's like rising up and down with my finger. That way I can tell where the cylinder, the piston's at. That's it. Again, it's past my bedtime. So I'm going to spin it over. Right there. That is top dead center, but it's on the wrong stroke. You know that because if you watch right here, both of these are moving, which means it's not going to fire right there, I guess. So we need to go cycle it one more time. There's top dead. We know we're on the right stroke because neither of these are moving. So that's where we want to adjust it. That means, you know what that means. I don't know what it means. I just know that's where we adjust it. Exhaust, because it expands. Again, I read all this on the forum, so you can look this up too. The exhaust expands because it's hot, so that means you lash it to a thicker gauge. So the exhaust, which is right here, because that's where your exhaust is, you lash that to 10 thousandths, and then you lash this to 5. So I got that at 10. I'm going to get it, actually needs back off a little bit, get it to where I can still get my feeler gauge in and out. So now I'm going to grab a hold of this, making sure not to move it like I just did, but you can check it out. Then this is a 9mm. I'm going to snug down this set thing. And check it again. And that's pretty good. And I'm going to snug this up a little bit more. Making sure that doesn't move. What I'm doing now, it shouldn't move. Against my better judgment, okay, so against my better judgment, I'm going to try to fill the bowl with it here on the workbench. That way, this wood just soaks it up and the workbench smells like gas for the rest of its life. So we're out of lawnmower gas. So I'm going to try to start it on some chainsaw mix gas for basically just 2-stroke mixture. Bicycle Garage, when he revives cars and stuff, that's what he starts them on. If you think about it, this is kind of a car. I think it'll be fine. Is it on or off? That's on. Nice. Cool. Awesome. We're going to see what this thing does. I put the muffler back on for a reason. We'll see what happens. There you go. Oh yeah. Instantly, dude. That's awesome. I'm so happy. That's awesome. It just needed a head gasket. Can I give it some throttle? Where's the throttle? Is this it? Probably out of gas. That's cool. Now, I mentioned that I needed some parts for that motor, and I think I changed my mind. Originally, I said I'm not going to mess with this motor down here. Long story short, it's locked up. The guy had it running. Good gosh. I haven't even really looked at it. Look at that fancy throttle cable. Nice. And yeah, he left it outside without this top piece on, and it filled with water, and she locked up. How's the tank look? I need a tank. Jesus. Well, hold on. May not be that bad. Uh-huh. And, oh, I need a drain fill plug. Yeah, I got one. What does this look like in here? Okay. Let's just let that do its thing. So I mentioned in the first video that I don't think I'm gonna mess with this motor. They're pretty cheap. I'll just replace it. I got an extra head gasket up there in the garage from that kit I just put in. You know, I could rebuild this thing. And after seeing that, I'm not sure. Is it a Hemi? No. So that whole rebuild kit will work on this motor. Okay, it's still pouring out. Interesting. But yeah, I originally thought like, oh, you know, I could rebuild this thing, have a nice little motor. After seeing that, I'm not sure. Okay, I drug up the hill here. I just want to see if this motor wants to act like it wants to rotate or something. I don't know. Ooh. Let's take the spark plug out. Oh, that's okay. That's fine. Oh. Now that we have this thing up on the bench, start to look at it a little bit more. I wish that would come over there. It may do it. You know, I don't think this thing's that rusty. I think it's just dirty. Well, it'd be helpful if I put the camera in there. I don't think that thing is really all that terrible. It's just nasty. Well, I'm doing great camera work today. There you go. Ew. Okay, so I put the dingo underneath the shed over there. It started raining, and I don't know, I didn't really want it to get wet. But what I can do now is work on a torque converter. I may have to tweak this a little bit, but I'm gonna try to get this as high as possible, or like level as possible. Wow. I'll have to at least loosen this to get that started. Let me get you in here because I know this is kind of sitting crooked. Go right here. You'll see it is contacting that. So I need to take this back off. See what's happening there. That was pretty simple for me to figure out. I had it backwards. So I had this sticking out front for some reason. Yeah, let's try it again. Hard to get in here. So If we look at the sprocket on the Dingo itself compared to this sprocket, that needs to come over to me where I'm standing to the left. And if we do that, I think we're going to clear everything. And that sprocket may be a booger to move over. We'll have to figure that part out, because I don't see moving the engine to the right. Alright, so I'm working on getting the sprocket moved. I figured I might as well try to do that before I place the motor in there, just because I have more room to work. So I think how this works is there's those 3 bolts that go right here. I took those off, and then this is like a 2-piece. Right there, I'm not going to show you because it's kind of hot. There's a little set screw, and I need to get these 2 apart to get to it. That way I can, you know, scoot it this way. Also, this lighting's terrible. What's happening here? Believe it or not, this thing just moved. I don't understand that. Look at that. That's crazy. I would have thought, this is literally 5 minutes after I just spoke to y'all, and it's trying to come off. So that's the thing. Do I want to take this all the way off? I don't think so. Let's see. Where's this? Okay, so I think I am going to have to take it all the way off, because I'm thinking there's a set screw right beneath that key. So let's go ahead and take this off. Whoop, watch yourself. There we go. Sweet. That was so much easier than I was afraid of. I do think that heat was 90% of what made that easy, so get you a torch if you want to be doing this. No, I just need to get this keyway out. Which appears is going to fight me more than the sprocket did. Just hit it with a hammer and wiggled it. Wow. It's a heck of a key. Now, I'm confused now because there's not a set screw. Well, how's this thing on here? Okay, I see now. See, it's got these little slits. It's just when this slides on here, it squeezes on there. That's all it is. Okay. I wish I would have seen that before I took that off. But what's the chances of me being able to move this now? I don't even know how to get in there. And oh, okay. So now I see. I was able to get in here and pry these apart, but if you look right here, see, you got these holes where the bolts went through. You got one that threads in, which means when this is sat all the way up against this like it was before, you just put a screw in right there. See, it's threaded, and once you thread that in, that'll push that back. So my way worked too, but hopefully we can move this. I'm gonna spray some juice in there. Okay, it was simpler than I thought. So I started this back on here, got in here with my pry bar. That lighting's terrible. It just, you know, see it move. That was super easy. I'm surprised it being that easy. I'm glad it was. Got it relatively close, so I got a chain right here that actually I think came with the clutch I ordered, but I think it's the right one. So I'm gonna take it apart, put it on there, see how close I got it. If you haven't watched me put a chain on anything before, you know I never do it right the first time. And I highly doubt that this time is going to be any different. Difference is, I didn't cut the chain, and I don't, if I mess this up, and I didn't need like extend it or anything, I don't have enough to do that. How did I do this before? There we go. Got a chain on there, and I actually cut it right the first time. So what I'm talking about right here is this little support. I'm afraid, or I was afraid, that when the it's turning, it's going to like fling up and hit that. But in theory, when this is rotating forward, this chain right here should be tight as everything because it's physically driving the cart. So I don't think, see it kind of loosens, but when you go forward, it's tight. I don't think it's going to be an issue, but let's see how good everything's aligned. I actually think that's pretty good. If you want to sight it down here. It's not terrible. You can see how much I moved it because this sprocket was in line with this, or like right in the middle with this little guard right here. So moved it about a 1/4 inch. I guess that way. Well, do I have to cut out a spot for the chain? Surely not. Took a chunk out of it. I'm hoping it's gonna be close. I haven't tested it yet. That I can use this mounting hole at the bottom right there. But it's gonna be pretty close to the sprockets. I don't know if I can. That's gonna be close, but everything else is lining up. There's those two up top. Now, here's the one I'm talking about down here. How sturdy is this? Oh, it needs something down there bad. Believe it or not, right there I actually got it started. So, it's going to take a while, but I'll get it. I got this cute little wrench right here. It should fire off, because it did earlier. Wow. I'm impressed. Me too. Hence the reason it's against the tree. So it don't lead. Ooh. Lots of smoke. You spray. There won't be no mosquitoes around.
I don't know what that is.
I don't either. So I wonder when you was pulling it up here, you lifted it up so high. I'm wondering
You
if
think
oil.
I filled the cylinder with oil?
Well, it could have been.
It's kind of clearing
but
up, ain't it?
maybe.
I don't know.
There's something dragging under the seat right there.
Yeah, that's the kill wire. I haven't
Oh.
wired up. It's cutting out pretty bad at full throttle, so it needs tuning.
This motor didn't smoke. Well, actually, I don't know because I ran 2-stroke gas in it. It could have been smoking.
Clearing up, ain't it?
Yeah. You may be about out of gas. You didn't put much in it.
It's cutting out pretty bad now. Now it died, but it was cutting out pretty bad.
It looks cool with those tires on it. I don't think I ever showed it on camera with those tires on it.
I don't mind them tires.
No. They were the right price too. I don't think I ever mentioned or showed you, but those aren't the wheels that were originally on there. These are. We actually got these off. And this one isn't terrible. You can see how much is rusted off of that. I didn't feel good about them sealing. And I didn't really feel good about selling it with those wheels on there because they're kind of rough. And these are off my dad's go-kart, or golf cart actually. This is a go-kart. And these were just like underneath the shed over there. So I was like, what's the chances they fit? And they fitted. So those are on there and they actually look kind of cool. So they'll probably get painted white. But I don't know. I kind of like it. The carburetor's probably junk on it, you know. I did clean it, or I said I'd mentioned I cleaned it, I think. But, you know, for how cheap these things are, went ahead and just got a new one. And got a adapter kit because I don't have an air cleaner for this thing, or air filter, whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna swap these things around, put an air filter on it, kind of make it look more sporty. I think this little kit right here is like 25 bucks because it's Black Friday. Bought it yesterday, got it today. Yesterday is Thanksgiving, so I didn't work on it very much. But yeah, I'm gonna do this and come back and we'll see what happens. So I had the option to get like a factory style air cleaner, and I think I made the right choice with getting this. It looks pretty cool in there. It's pretty snug, but it fits. Oh, rolling backwards. Well, okay, so the last time I talked to you guys on this, this thing was bogging down, you know, accelerating, bogging out at full throttle actually too. And I actually worked all that out of it. Biggest thing I did is I jetted up the carburetor, because I noticed, actually first thing I did is this idle mixture screw, it was way out of whack. So spec on that screw right there is all the way in, and then a rotation and a half out, and it wasn't even close to that. That took care of a lot of it. Then I started thinking that, well, I put this huge air cleaner on it. It's allowing more air to go in there, but I didn't give it more fuel. So higher RPMs, it was super lean. And actually that carburetor came with, it didn't even say what size it was. It just came with a different jet on it. I threw that thing in there and this thing rips now. So this thing is done, and I am super happy with how it turned out. As you can see, oh, maybe you can't see, I did everything I was planning on doing yesterday, or I said I was going to do yesterday. Did them today, where painted the wheels, painted these back wheels white. Then, oh, put a breather for the valve cover on. Needed that. And, oh, I hooked up my kill switch. So here's another there, and then through the frame back here. Still need to tidy up some wires and stuff, but you know, it's done pretty much. But yeah, I've been driving this thing around a good bit, and it scoots pretty good. It goes fast, and it if you turn right, actually if you turn left, I don't really like to do it, but if you turn right, the rear end kicks out on this thing, and it's so fun with these slick tires on here. I actually ordered those to go on here, and these were free, so that's enough for me to put them on there. And also, I mean, it drives so fun with these slick tires on the back of it. I don't know how I finished this thing in 2 videos. It really didn't even fight me that much, I think is why. It's just, you know, everything just worked together good pretty easily, like not having to have a riser for this frame or anything. Just, that was nice. Yeah, this thing is ready to list on Marketplace. Oh, well, I did the math. Hold on. I kept track of everything I spent on this thing, so that added up, I have like, yeah, 170 bucks in it, so that's pretty cool. But again, the only reason I'm in it that cheap is because I lucked out getting the whole lot of go-karts for like 175 bucks, so picked up like 7 go-karts for that much. I got lucky there, but, and this motor is free. Well, oh, I ran out of gas. We'll see if it fires up. There you go. Yeah, it needs gas. See, kill switch works now. Yeah, I ran out of gas driving it around earlier. But yeah, I'm going to end this video with a clip of me driving this. And if you like the go-kart content, which I guess there's only been 1 go-kart so far, I plan on doing a whole lot more of that stuff. Just as a teaser. Here's a 14 horsepower Briggs I plan on putting on my personal go-kart, which is a Murray Kilowatt I've got over there in the shed. So that ought to do pretty good. But yeah, that may be a little bit down the road. I've still got a couple more go-karts to work through and sell before I do that, but I'm still happy with how this looks. See, I'm gonna end this video. Thanks for watching. Back up a little.
Yep. If you'd put all-terrain tires on there, you couldn't do that.
Nope.